It's the Motorola Razr Fold after 3 months or so of use, and I wanted to go back and take a look at this device, especially in light of conversations I've seen with people saying, well, if you really hate the Z Fold 8, spend that extra $200 and get the Z Fold 8 Ultra, and I really don't think that's the way to go. For the complaints that I hear about the Galaxy Z Fold 8, I do think for the same money, keep in mind, you will be better served by the Motorola Razr Fold. So let's talk about this phone. Build and design. I love the build quality of this thing. It is not light. It is not overly thin, but it feels really nice in the hand. I love the textured back on this phone. I love what Motorola does with textures and different colors, even though this one's kind of the bluish black color, not the most exciting in the world. I do like the rubberized texture on the back here. It makes me more confident feeling this when I'm out and about. Opening this up, especially if I'm walking, it makes me a little bit more confident that I'm going to have grip on the back of this device. And overall, I enjoy the design, the slightly curved display I like. I don't typically like these dramatic waterfall displays, as you know, if you're someone who's watched the channel for a while, but this isn't one of those. This is just a nice little pleasing curve at the edge of the display, so when you're swiping, it feels nice against your thumb. And let's talk about those displays. 6.6-inch display on the front, absolutely gorgeous panel. 1080p, yes, but that's basically par for the course on these book-style, taller book-style foldables. And then, of course, opening up to unveil the 8.1-inch internal display, and really, really nice. I know Samsung always gets credit for its displays, and rightfully so. They're nice, they're bright, they're saturated, they're reliable. Motorola, over the last 4 or 5 years, has done a phenomenal job with its displays as well. Really saturated, really punchy. Yes, you can mess with the colors if you want, if you don't like that more vivid aesthetic to your phone. I happen to love it, so I keep it on there, and it's been really, really nice. Performance, this is where people are going to get hung up a little bit. Yes, $1,900. I mean, don't forget, $1,900, but you get the Moto Watch, you get the buds. There's a bunch of deals going on that you get it, but it's still $1,900. Okay, so let's just, in case you're not interested in the watch and other things, $1,900, Snapdragon 8 Gen 5, and boy, I couldn't care less. This is a phone that performs well. That chipset is snappy. If anything, it's smart that Motorola did that, especially paired with 16 gigs of RAM and 512 gigabytes of base storage. If I had to choose, if I had a certain number of points, if I'm building a character in an RPG or something like that, and you told me I could have a Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5, which is an expensive chipset, but I'm sacrificing perhaps 4 gigs of RAM or that 512 gigabytes of base storage, I'm taking the extra RAM and the storage all day, every day. You may think differently, but I think that you're going to get really nice performance from this. You're not going to notice a heck of a lot of difference between those two chipsets for what we do on our devices, especially if you're not into AI that much, especially if you're not a hardcore gamer, even though this game, the phone games just fine on that gorgeous internal display. But the 16 gigabytes of RAM and the 512 gigabytes of storage is absolutely worth the price of admission. And I would take that trade all day long. So everyone's going to sit there and compare it to something like the Z Fold 8 Ultra, saying, yeah, okay, the Z Fold 8 Ultra, Samsung's more, but I get those other things. Well, you don't get as much over here, number one, and the Snapdragon 8 Gen 5 chipset is perfectly fine. The other thing that's great is software. And this is something that I was not expecting from Motorola. Number one, I wasn't expecting the company to promise 7 years of upgrades. I don't know what that's going to look like. I can't sit here and promise and say, well, 7 years from now, Motorola is going to do a phenomenal job optimizing this device and all the rest of it. I can't promise that because we really haven't seen that from the company just yet. We're starting to see Android 17 going to roll out in the next few months to devices. We'll see how the company does with that. But we don't have a long track record of Motorola bringing and optimizing its software to older hardware. That being said, the early returns on the Razr Fold are good. I love how Motorola, first of all, handled the app tray, the app drawer. You're using the entire display. I absolutely love that. I also love how Motorola handled multitasking. At the top of every app, you get the 3 dots, you tap. I could do floating window, or I could do split screen and bring up another app, and I'm done. That's a phenomenal way to handle multitasking. And for a company that's not exactly known as software as a strength, I love that Motorola handled it that way, and the software experience so far, so good on the Razr Fold. Other big advantages, battery, 6,000 milliamp hour silicon carbon battery. that's going to easily best what's on the Z Fold 8 and the Z Fold 8 Ultra. And then you get to the charging, 80-watt fast charging, 50-watt wireless charging, which is still faster than what you're going to see on either Samsung device. Here's what trips me up though. So you have people talking about and complaining about the Z Fold 8 cameras. And then they say, well, pay more, the $200 more for the Z Fold 8 Ultra because you get the telephoto lens and you get the 200 megapixel primary sensor and all the rest of it. Let me tell you something. If the cameras are the primary reason why you choose a Z Fold 8 Ultra over a Z Fold 8, which I think is a false choice to begin with. Those are two different user experiences, but I see it all over the internet anyway. But if you're someone who did that, and the things that are important to you are the battery life and the cameras and whatever else, this has that phone pound for pound. It is a very close competition between those two devices. And if I had to make a judgment call on the versatility of the camera system as a whole, I'm giving the nod to Motorola. Triple 50 megapixel setup, yeah, sure, it's not the 200 megapixel, but let me tell you something. We'll throw up some shots. Gorgeous photos from this device. You get the 3x telephoto, 50 megapixels across the board, so there's no downgrade between the ultra wide and the telephoto and the primary sensor, which is great. Because nothing annoys me more than when you have a big gap between the primary sensor and the ultra wide sensor, or even a bigger gap down to a telephoto lens. I'm not a shutterbug by any means, okay? I'm not an artist with these photos, but you can absolutely see the difference and the drop down and how soft and mushy and bad the colors are when you downgrade the sensor for the other lenses. That doesn't happen here. This is a phenomenal camera sensor that absolutely goes blow for blow with the big book style foldables on cameras. And Motorola has been good with cameras for a few years now, and this camera system proves it. It is absolutely the highlight. And if you're somebody that's going to sit there and say, boy, my main features in a phone, a foldable or a camera, which I think to be ridiculous in the first place, then it's a little disingenuous, the argument, if you're not looking at Motorola and the Razr Fold as a reason why you'd buy a foldable for cameras, because it is right up there with the best that you can get. And just the overall experience is fine. I love the internal display. I love using it. It's a snappy phone. Yes, the Z Fold 8 has won me over for a few reasons. We'll do a comparison video and I'll explain a lot of that stuff, but it's a different phone. It's a different phone with a different experience, so I don't put them in the same class. And if you're looking for that alternative for $1,900 and you just love that, some people just love the book style, traditional book style fold. You want that narrower outer display. You want the taller outer display. You want a cover screen that's more reminiscent of a regular traditional smartphone experience. But then you want to be able to open it up and get the large Google Maps experience, get the multitasking, get video. You could turn it on its side and have a decent video experience with this. You're absolutely getting all that with the Razr Fold. If I had to buy a traditional book style foldable in 2026, it's going to be this one. Because of the price, because of the bonuses, because of all the stuff I get. And it wins in enough categories that it makes sense up against the Z Fold 8 Ultra. And certainly up against the Pixel 11 Pro Fold. So if you're somebody who you love that form factor, you're not ready to go wide on the outer display or the inner display with something like a Z Fold 8, and you're frustrated with what you get on the Samsung side. Maybe you had a Galaxy Z Fold 7 or a Pixel 9 Pro Fold or a Pixel 10 Pro Fold, and you've been waiting for book style foldables to click in a certain way for you, well, then it's going to be the Motorola Razr Fold. And I don't even think it's close. Solid hinge, IP48, 49, something like that, so not quite the IP68 you get on Google's variant, but still I think a very durable device, very nice hinge to open up, very smooth performance, gorgeous displays, excellent cameras, phenomenal battery life, just absolutely over-the-top battery life. This is a device that you could whale on that internal display, that 8.1-inch internal display all day long and not experience a second of battery anxiety. You could go into this the next day and have no problems whatsoever. So the long-term returns have been good. Yes, the Z Fold 8 has kind of skewed the field a little bit, but like I said, different phones, right? I won't put the Razr Ultra in the same category as the Razr Fold, and similarly, I won't put the Z Fold 8 in the same category as the Razr Fold. So, if you like it, $1,900, I think it's the way to go if you want that taller form factor on your foldables. this year. If you've made it this far, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Until next time, have the Steelers.